So we are live. Hello guys, welcome back to Rep Sports. And the FIFA World Cup has already delivered a lot of thrilling game, a lot of action-packed game. We've also delivered some new superstars, a lot of younger faces as well, who made their mark in the World Cup already. But also alongside, after games like the Germany, Curacao, and also the Sweden, Tunisia. I mean, such a bigger margin win. Also, debate has started whether 48 teams World Cup is viable or not, going forward. Whether 48 team World Cup, I mean, losing that competitiveness in the group stage or not. But in this show, in the first 10 minutes, we're going to discuss about the revolution of Asian teams in the World Cup, how the Asian teams have closed their gap with the European elite nation in this World Cup, especially the result of Qatar against Switzerland, that last minute equalizer, then Australia, Turkey, and especially last night, between Japan and Netherlands. Japan coming back from behind twice, to secure 1 point against Netherlands. We should talk about Asian teams. Rohanda already wearing, Japan's jersey. Rohanda, your thoughts on the Asian team performance so far? What has impressed you so far? Already, I think 4 Asian teams, they started, on a flying note in this World Cup. So, what has actually impressed you a lot about the Asian team so far in this World Cup?
Well, of course, it's really great to see the Asian teams come up. Japan, Korea, Qatar getting their first point against a team like Switzerland, and the guy who scored the goal uh, got a Rolls Royce as gift, 3 million pounds as gift from the
Exactly.
Qatar state. So it's quite a great stories. The game last night, Japan versus Netherlands. I was feeling very sleepy in the first half, but it was worth it waiting till the last minute. What a comeback that we saw from Japan, from the Japan national team. And as we always speak, that you can't write off teams like Japan, Korea. They have always pushed above their weights. They have always defeated the heavyweights. They have always been the giant killers. And I think it's not only Japan, Korea right now. The teams like Qatar and all are also coming up. Australia winning. Though Australia technically not part of Asia, but they play in the Asian quota, defeating a team like Turkey with all those big stars who play in European clubs,
Europe.
right? So Australian result of 2-0 against Turkey is also a great result to be proud of as an Asian football fan, and a lesson for us as well. We speak of cricket. See, all the SENA countries are
Absolutely.
playing the World Cup. All the SENA countries are playing the World Cup. Leaving aside England, they have always been good, but Australia, South Africa qualifying on their own. However bad they perform in the World Cup, they have qualified on their own, right? 2010 they hosted the World Cup, but this time they qualified
Exactly.
on merit. Australia, New Zealand. So it's of course great to see all these Asian countries come up. Whether the question of 48 teams being viable or not, we'll have to see. Of course, there are flip side to this question. We get stories like Curacao, we get stories like Cape Verde, but on the greatest stage, do we need such stories? That is a bigger debate we'll discuss towards the
Correct.
end of the tournament. But for now, really happy with the way the Asian teams have performed.
Absolutely, and tomorrow another Asian nation will step onto the pitch, and that is obviously Iran. And when Iran will be, playing against New Zealand, there is, completely a separate political layer will be added to that match. We'll talk about that later in this show. But Somnath Rohanda has already given me the cue for my next question. What actually India can learn from this Asian nation, taking part in the World Cup?
I mean, obviously, every country has separate plans for their football. Japan, as we know, Japan had their 100-year plan to win the FIFA World Cup. They started this plan back in the 1990s, and their aim is to win the FIFA World Cup by 2090. And the way they are progressing in this tournament, the way they are progressing in football all over as a sport, I think the day is not that far when Japan will seriously compete for the FIFA World Cup. But obviously, just a quick stat again. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, Morocco has proved us wrong that they are not some underdog team. They are one of the favorites team, one of the best team in the world right now. And also, I think yesterday, not yesterday, last night, Japan proved us again that they are still one of the best teams in the tournament. If you see, they have players playing in the La Liga, they have players playing in the Premier League, obviously. And just a quick stat
Absolutely.
again. In the last 30 matches, Japan has played nearly many matches in the recent past. In the last 30 matches, they have lost just twice. And you can
Oh,
just imagine the stat. They have lost against, I think, Australia once, and they have lost against USA once. But apart
They
from
have
that,
lost
they have played
friendly
against
against
teams
Brazil
like
as well.
Brazil, Mexico, South Korea. Again,
they have beaten
you
Brazil
mentioned
actually, right?
previously yesterday they played against Netherlands. They are a fantastic team, to be honest, and the strongest team in Asia by far. The Obviously Japan, Indian football can learn many things. For example, I think it's time for India to bring these OCI PIO players, because apart from that, I think the development will be too late. If we have to start from the grassroots, it will take time. It will take time, nearly 60 to 70 years, to entirely change the infrastructure of the game in this country. But if we allow the OCI and PIO players who are Indian, not Indian born, but their ancestors are from India, if we allow those players to play for our national team, I think we can qualify for the World Cup in the near future. Maybe it will take 12 to 16 years time, but eventually in this new 48 countries format, I think there is a bright chance for India to qualify for the World Cup if the OCI thing is allowed.
Absolutely. I mean, alongside OCI, PIO, I think one thing that India can seriously learn from those nations, I mean, Indian players, they should try themselves out in, outside India. They should challenge themselves, playing in, in wherever they get opportunity. I know that, even second or third division, will be tough for the Indian players, but at least they should try wherever they can. I know fourth or fifth division. I know it's easier being said than done because it's really difficult for them, to make it to Europe and playing for such teams because
Now,
previously Sandesh Jingan.
Rahul, in
Yeah,
this
obviously.
point, as you were mentioning about the third and fourth divisions in Europe, yesterday I published an article on an interview of a player, a 22-year-old center defensive mid,
Yes.
Ativir Khan. He's from Delhi. He's currently playing Portuguese club football, and
Oh,
the club that he plays for, the main team plays in the first division, but his team, the under 23, the B team that plays in the fourth division. He was mentioning that you will find a lot of Indian players, young Indian players,
correct.
20, 21, 19, playing in the fourth and
Correct.
fifth division in Portugal, Spain, and Germany elsewhere. They don't get paid much. So the question is, if you were a professional football player, would you have chosen that path of going down that line, or you would have chosen the high-paying, glamorous ISL where they are paying top dollars? So that's a question that we have to ask, because this guy that I'm talking about comes from an affluent family. He can choose that tough way to follow
Correct.
his passion, right? Not many Indian players come from that background who will have the guts to go and choose a career like that in
Absolutely.
Europe, right? So I think that's the bigger question, to bring in a structure to the Indian system. OCI PIO players, of course. The biggest example is Curacao itself. Among the 26 players that are part of the squad, only Tahith Chong is one player who was born in Curacao. Rest every player was born in Netherlands. So I think that's the way forward for Indian football. But overall, I think we have a lot to learn from these countries.
Absolutely. I mean, alongside these dual citizenship players, I think this is also one way because if you see, I mean, players from Japan, Korea, why this team are so much developed because most of their play, I mean, 80 to 90% of their players are playing in the European league, so that's what helped them, and also they have set an example for the other players, back in their nation as well. So that's how they have developed. They've got a significant development over the past decade, and now see they are getting the result at the World Cup stage. But Shomnath, coming to you, realistically, do you see any of the Asian teams making it to the semi-final? And if so, which team you are rooting for in this World Cup?
I'm not sure if some team will reach the semi-finals or not, but quarterfinals for sure. Japan has the potential to reach the quarterfinals. I think why not if quarterfinals, why not semifinals? I think the only country from Asia who has the potential to compete against every team in the world. I think it's Japan right now. The way they have bounced back against Netherlands, they were trailing twice in the match. First, Netherlands uh, took the lead 1-0. Then they came back to the 1-1 score. Again, Netherlands took the lead, and in the final minute, in the 89th minute, Japan scored the equalizer. So this shows that the Japan are a team who are very difficult to beat. I mean, if we look to players like Kubo, who plays in Real Sociedad, if we talk about players like Nakamura, who plays in Crystal Palace, in teams like Crystal Palace, obviously the basics they have, the kind of agility these Japanese players have, it's next level. And especially, yeah, the brilliant thing about these Asian teams are the coordination they have among them. They are someone they have not big physique, 6 foot tall, 6.5 foot tall, strong pace. Not nothing like that, but they have that agility and the coordination between themselves. When a winger is coming close to the box, they know that there is a man lying deep to whom I
Absolutely.
have to make this pass. Then the player who received the pass will shoot the ball in a proper
Correct.
position. I think the basics, the type of improvement they have done in their basics, I think it's incredible. And obviously, I am rooting for Japan as the best team in nation, or hopefully they will also play this World Cup semi-final for the first time.
I mean, apart from Australia, if we talk about Japan and South Korea, the best thing they're not sitting back at their own half and defending. They are going for their goal. Especially about the last game between Netherlands and Japan. Japan went behind twice, but they came back. They came back, and also they scored the equalizer at the 88 minutes. So that shows how much they have changed over the past few years. So obviously, hopefully, our Asian teams will continue their impressive they continue their impressive show in the World Cup stage. And now it brings us to another game that is between Germany and Curacao. And Germany once again have registered a 7-1 scoreline, but this time against Curacao. But Rwanda, do you think this scoreline will bother Curacao much? I mean, obviously, qualifying for the World Cup has been a huge thing for them. So, do you think they will think much about this scoreline?
Well, I have been since last night. I have seen enormous number of fan reels, fan bites out of the stadium, outside of the stadium, and fans were rejoicing. Fans were celebrating, and they did not care anything about the scoreline. If you see the after the match, where the Curacao stand was there, the players came and every player celebrated and cheered. That one goal meant the world to the Curacao team and the players and everyone in that nation, because scoring against Germany, 4 times champions, and equalizing, not like that you get a consolation goal after you are 6-0 down, after you are 5-0 down. You
Correct.
got that goal after you are 1-0 down and you equalized. So that had a separate value to it. One thing that we have to ask question to FIFA, to the organizers, is that right after the goal, the new addition to the World Cup
Hydration break.
game, the hydration break, and that perhaps
3 minutes.
broke the momentum of the Curaçao team. They I won't say they had control of the game, but they had the momentum. They could have pushed Germany to maybe till the end of the first half. If Kai Havertz did not get that penalty, right, and the score would have been 1-1 till the first half. Scoreline could have been different, right? So I think all these things, and we all know that FIFA had that hydration break, and that is for commercialization and all, whatever it is. But I think that had the play went on as it was going, Curacao would have momentum and the scoreline could have been different. But that one goal will mean the world to that small island nation with of population less than Uttarpara and Kondover combined.
Absolutely. I think around 300 or 400 fans, went to USA from Curacao, boarding a charter flight. I mean, obviously, the whole nation is celebrating, their World Cup appearance. Big moment for them. I don't think they will think much about the scoreline because qualifying for the World Cup, means a lot for them actually. And hopefully they will keep enjoying the another two group stage match because we also don't have much expectation from this Curacao team, but this Curacao team already has set a big example for other nation, who are still aiming to reach the World Cup stage. But Shobna, do you believe that really that hydration break that actually impacted the game, or do you think this time these are different Germany team playing in this World Cup, and they have got that tools, that potential to go further you know in this World Cup?
For Germany, I think among those 7 goals, I think most of the goals were brilliant, were bangers. Obviously, one from,
I mean,
if
six
you talk about the
scorers.
first goal, absolutely. If you talk about the first goal, if you talk about the Musiala goal, be it Kyle Havertz, the last finish, the seventh goal, if you talk about Kyle Havertz finish, many of the goals were bangers actually, very good executed goals. But for Kudasao, I think it was coming. It was coming. I mean, apart from the first goal against the run-off play, the Curacao, the entire Curacao team was, were high on adrenaline, and they were pressing repeatedly to the German midfield. But obviously, as we know in football, you have to play tactically. There are quarters to the game. There are divisions in for the entire 90 minutes. For example, if you tend to press for the first 15 minutes, you have to play it slow for the rest of the first half to maintain your stamina for the second half and so. If not, then the opposition team will easily outpace you and outshine you in every department. So I think Curaçao were not able to manage that thing, and that's why the huge difference in the scoreline is quite visible. But I think they have enjoyed yesterday's match. Not only the players, the fans, everyone enjoyed the match thoroughly, and that's what matters the most in this beautiful game. But obviously, coming to the hydration break, it is quite evident, and I have said it earlier also that football is not about two halves. It's about four halves, because generally in matches during the 25th minute you have one hydration break, and in the second half, in the 75th minute, you have one hydration break. And this hydration break, this 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes hydration break usually tends to break the momentum. For example, if a team is pushing, if a team gets that confidence with the ball, suddenly when the hydration break comes, they have to start again from zero. So yes, it's a very much needed break for the opposition, obviously. But I think the uh, number of hydration breaks which is given in this FIFA World Cup, I think it is obviously to settle or get accustomed to the USA. Nothing much to say, but I guess yes, it's breaking the momentum for teams.
Okay, and another inspirational story from that game, between Germany and Curacao is Jamal Musiala. First of all, that was an extraordinary finish from that tight angle, and just almost a year ago in the Club World Cup, only he left the pitch, in tears, because that was the game between PSG and Bayern Munich, and uh, his ankle got dislocated, after a tough tackle from a defender, and he was almost out of football, for around 8 to 9 months. Then he recovered, he came back, he played few games for Bayern Munich, and at first, he was doubtful for the World Cup, but he recovered in time for the World Cup. And what a comeback again! In the USA soil, he scored that goal in the opening game of Germany in this World Cup. So another inspiring story, and obviously, Musiala is very much central, to Germany's plan in this World Cup. Siddharth is saying that OCI PIO the only way forward. Absolutely no doubt about it. OCI or PIO, or either the grassroots development, and also hopefully we are going to see more OCI or PIO players not only in our Indian football team but also in other sports as well. Who lack that cutting edge. Who are not that competitive. When coming to facing other top nation, because especially our sport minister already sent a proposal. Of bringing sport passport for the players of dual citizenship of India, so that they can come and strengthen our football teams and other sport teams in India, keeping in mind about the 2036 Olympic. So let's see, we are all hopeful and optimistic about inclusion of more OCI and PIO players in the upcoming future. But Rwanda, just like Germany and Curacao, there are going to be another similar story, hopefully, tonight. That is between Spain and Cape Verde. Cape Verde, the best thing about Cape Verde is they have recruited few players through LinkedIn as well. So your
Yeah.
expectation from this game, Spain versus Cape Verde, obviously it's going to be a big margin win for Spain. but still, obviously, a special story for Cape Verde. They're going to make their debut, the World Cup.
Of course, any underdog story are good, and with the 48 nation tournament, these stories will come up. But not sure how many of the fans will want these type of stories. But for me personally, I do love watching these teams play and getting to know these stories. But Spain, of course, one of the contenders this World Cup. They have a fantastic team, huge talent pool in the squad. I think it will be a fairly heavy skewed towards Spain, the match. But again, if Cape Verde manages to pull off one goal or something, they push Spain to the last minutes. I think those stories will be always good. But again,
True.
Cape Verde, Curacao, all these stories are good inspirational stories for India to learn.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And another few games tonight as well. I mean, Belgium starting their World Cup campaign, then Uruguay also opening their World Cup campaign. Again, another Asian nation, that is Saudi Arabia, were all set to host the upcoming World Cup, that is in 2030. But before that, we have missed one game, that is between Sweden and Tunisia. The Sweden, who was first, they were doubtful for the World Cup because they finished last in the Euro World Cup qualifiers. But they then, interestingly, they made it to the World Cup by, defeating Poland in the playoffs finally. Then, now they have defeated Tunisia by a big margin. I mean, 5-1. And what a start for Sweden, especially Alexander Isak. Uh, Especially, injury has hampered Isak club season with Liverpool, but this time he has, find the back of the net in the opening game of the World Cup. Gyökeres also found the net. Uh, I think obviously Sweden they have a great chance to making it to the next round, especially under their new head coach Graham Potter in this World Cup. But Shomnath, tonight Belgium is also taking the field. Uruguay also taking the field. Belgium, Uruguay. Do you think they could be the dark horse in this World Cup?
Uh, Obviously, again, they are one of the consistent sides. If you talk about World Cups from 2018, the golden generation of Belgium is getting old, and obviously for football fans, it's kind of sad because we have all watched Kevin De Bruyne, and this is going to be his last dance, obviously in this World Cup. But apart from that, under the goalpost, Thibaut Courtois, if we talk about other players like Lukaku, they are going to play their last World Cup, and obviously it will be emotional for fans as well. But let's see if Belgium can pull off a stunner against. If we talk about the big teams, I am seeing them qualifying for the round of 32, round of 16 quite easily. But again, it will be crucial if they are able to compete against big boys of Europe like Spain or France or not. But I think yes, they have passed the golden generation, which was back in 2018. Kevin De Bruyne, he missed majority of the games for Napoli as well. He was not in that good shape. For Courtois, he is also coming back from an injury. If you talk about Lukaku, is obviously benched in his club football team. He's not preferred. They have other players for him in the striker position. So you can obviously imagine the condition of this team. The golden generation is finally getting old, and I think Belgium will enjoy this World Cup for the final time, especially for this generation. But again, this is going to be tough. I think for Belgium, they will maximum go to the round of 16 or at most the quarterfinals. But apart from that, but beyond that, I don't think they will, progress in the World Cup.
Absolutely. Final few minutes, but before that, we have missed another story from that Sweden versus Tunisia game, and that is Yashin Ayari, who scored for Sweden, and his father is actually from Tunisia. He also had an opportunity to play for Tunisia, but he decided to play for Sweden. And after scoring that goal, he decided not to celebrate, against his father nation. So, a lot of stories, this kind of similar stories at this World Cup. A lot of players, dual citizens when playing for other nations. So obviously one such special story. But Rwanda, already we have seen several games at this World Cup. I know there are a few heavyweight nations yet to play at this World Cup, but so far some of the best games that we have watched, best
Uh,
team performance.
well, Germany of course looks strong, but you can't judge them against a team like Curacao. But what to
Correct.
say? one thing that Germany of the previous two editions and these Germany are looking entirely different. So these teams do have a lot more potential with all these youngsters coming up. Manuel Neuer still under the goal wasn't
40.
tested much. Wasn't tested much against Curacao. The only one perhaps good shot that came that went to the back of the net. It was an awkward bounce, but still we have seen Neuer making those saves 100 times in the past, but of course, this Germany side looks quite strong. The Japan team, of course, impressed a lot, coming back two times against a team like Netherlands. They will be hoping to get to that semi-final spot after they missed that narrow miss to Belgium. Uh, I do think Germany do have a lot of potential. And
Hmm.
apart from that, I'm really looking forward to the Spain game tonight because Spain is my favorite team, of course, after Argentina, uh, uh, to win the World Cup. So I'm really looking forward to the Spanish team of the match versus Cape Verde. Again, you can't just judge teams based against teams like Curacao and Cape Verde, because I think this Germany team looks solid and they will be giving top five to the big nations. And many big teams are yet to play their first games:
Yeah.
Uruguay, Argentina, Portugal, England. So all this, waiting for all these matches. Brazil did not impress much. Morocco did, but I would say Germany looked the most comprehensive side so far.
I mean, Spain is no doubt they are one of the favorite, alongside France, especially France and Spain. The kind of bench strength they
Mm.
have got at this World Cup, make the difference, when you compare with the other team. And yeah, Portugal, Argentina, Belgium, Uruguay, and Croatia, they're yet to, play their opening game. A lot of expectation from, I think, Argentina as well, the defending champions. We'll talk about Argentina final few minutes. But talking about Germany, one thing that I've noticed in last night game, that is Manuel Neuer still 40, and there was one moment he came off the goal line and he reached almost near the half. I mean the center circle to clear one ball. So it's still that quintessential Manuel Neuer at this World Cup. But obviously high expectation from Spain as well. But Shobnath, uh, best individual performance so far in this World Cup, or best goals that caught your attention?
Obviously, tough question. Again, the goal of Nakamura against Netherlands for the equalizer was a good goal. Obviously, if you talk about the Brazil Morocco match, obviously Vinicius Junior goal was again stupendous. If you talk about the Morocco goal, Saibari goal was class. The full composed finish of Saibari as well as Brahim Diaz through ball. There were many good goals in this World Cup. Obviously, if we talk about Germany, from the Curaçao game, there were two, three beautiful goals. But if the best goal, I think, according to the situation, I will go for Vinicius Junior because obviously it was an important goal for Brazil, the equalizing goal, which was very important for them. I think obviously Vinicius Junior with the good goal. But obviously, if we talk about the other teams, the best team so far, I think it's too early to comment because the favorites of this World Cup are still the teams which we are thinking are the favorites are still still yet to start their campaign in this World Cup. France, England, Argentina, Portugal. So we will wait for that. But apart from that, I think yes, Germany with a convincing win, they are looking one of the contenders for sure.
Absolutely, and among some other heavyweights who are yet to open their World Cup campaign, one is England, and problem is not leaving England. First they were shooting near their base camp, then their kids got stolen, their equipment got stolen in the midway to the Kansas City, and now they have faced tornado warning last night actually, and what I think that they were warned to step out of their hotels and on. So problems are not leaving England before their opening game against Croatia. I hope that won't hamper their performance in their opening game against Croatia. But another heavyweight were yet to open their World Cup campaign, obviously Argentina. They're all set to play Algeria in the opening game. We all know what happened in the last edition of the World Cup in Qatar. Saudi Arabia stunned the whole world, defeating Argentina. Uh, Rwanda, are you confident that this time Argentina would avoid such banana sleep? And how they should approach the Algeria game actually?
Well, I don't mind if they go on to win the tournament once again like that. Back in 2010, Spain also lost the first match against Switzerland, and they went on to win the World Cup. Argentina and Qatar lost the first game against Saudi and went on to win the World Cup. But jokes apart, of course, I would say that uh, the Saudi game was a learning for them, that you can't take any team lightly in a stage like World Cup. Algeria also, it's one of those sides that you can't take lightly. Algeria
And
did have a very good history, I would say. I don't remember the edition of the World Cup. I think it was 1974, where Algeria were actually, no, I think before that, actually winning to West Germany, and
yep.
it was the first time they played the World Cup. They went to West Germany, and West Germany and Austria had to play each other, and they whoever wins had now. I think it was such a situation that
Hmm.
if something happens, Algeria goes to the next round, and uh, it reportedly it was West Germany and Austria after a one after West Germany scored a goal, stopped any attacks and kept the score as it is to ensure that Algeria did not go through. And that was the time where FIFA decided to have the all the last matches of the group stages in the same time in the same day, so that no two teams can understand what the equation will be. So I think Algeria do have a good history of the World Cup. I'm not sure how are they performing recently. I haven't followed them much, but at this stage, you can't take any team lightly.
Absolutely. So obviously, eyes will be on England, Argentina, Belgium going forward, because we are drawing close to the end of the first round. So obviously, we'll be
Portugal as
back
well.
again tomorrow to discuss tonight. Yeah, Portugal as well. So again, we'll be back tomorrow morning to discuss tonight game. So you guys don't forget to stay tuned to Rep Sports for more update. More such shows from FIFA World Cup. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Shomnath and Rwanda as well for joining. Again, see you in our next show.